This is not just the story of one mother. It is the story of every son who says, "I'll come tomorrow," and that tomorrow never comes. If your mother is still alive today, this story will break your heart. Every morning, an old mother sat by the door with the same question in her eyes. Will my son come today? People passed by. Days turned into years. But the son never returned. In a quiet corner of the city, there stood a small, broken house, where an elderly mother waited every single day. Her hands trembled. Her eyesight had faded, but her heart was still full of hope. She opened the door again and again. Maybe today my son will come home. What she didn't know was this. The son she was living for had already forgotten her existence. Hello, dear listeners. Thank you for joining me today. Before I begin my story, I would be very happy if you subscribed to the channel and left a comment writing which state or country you are listening from. It always warms my heart to see how far our stories travel. So now, let me tell you this story. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. The old mother waited every day for her son. He never came. My name is Margaret Wilson. I live in a quiet town in the Midwest of America, a place where streets fall silent after sunset, and memories speak louder than people. My house is small, too small for the dreams I once had, yet too big now for a woman who lives alone. The paint on the walls is peeling, the roof leaks when it rains, and the wooden front door creaks every time I open it. But that door is everything to me, because every morning, I open it with the same hope in my heart. Maybe today my son will come home. I wake up before dawn, not because I have somewhere to go, but because sleep no longer stays with me. My hands tremble when I sit up. My knees ache when my feet touch the cold floor. Old age has settled into my bones, like winter that never ends. Still, I force myself to stand. I wrap my old sweater around my shoulders and slowly make my way to the door. The world outside is quiet. A few cars pass by. Birds chirp. Life moves on. And I stand there, waiting. I used to know the days of the week. Mondays, Tuesdays, Sundays. Now they all feel the same. What matters to me is not the day, but the waiting. My son's name is Daniel. When Daniel was little, he used to hold my hand tightly whenever we crossed the street. "Mom," he would say, "don't let go." I never did. I didn't let go. When his father passed away suddenly, leaving me alone with a 6-year-old boy and a heart full of fear, I didn't let go. When I worked 2 jobs, cleaning offices at night and sewing clothes during the day, I didn't let go. When my fingers bled from needles and my eyes burned from exhaustion, all I saw was Daniel's future. I remember the day he graduated high school. He stood tall in his cap and gown, his smile wide, his eyes full of dreams. He hugged me and said, "Mom, one day I'll give you a better life." I smiled through my tears. I believed him. When Daniel got a job in the city, he was nervous but excited. "It's temporary," he told me. "I'll come back every weekend." I packed his bags myself, folded his clothes carefully, slipped a small Bible into his suitcase. "Call me when you arrive," I said. "I will, Mom." At first, he did. Every Sunday evening, my phone would ring. He'd tell me about his work, his new apartment, his busy life. "I miss you," he'd say. And I would sleep peacefully that night. Then the calls became shorter, then less frequent. Sundays turned into months. Months turned into silence. When I called him, sometimes the phone rang unanswered. Sometimes it went straight to voicemail. I left messages anyway. "Hi, Daniel. It's Mom. Just checking in. Call me when you can." I never sounded angry. Never complained. A mother doesn't want to be a burden. The neighbors noticed. "Margaret," they said gently, "your son hasn't visited in years." I smiled. "He's busy. Good children are always busy." I said it so often that I almost convinced myself. Every Friday, I still cook Daniel's favorite meal: meatloaf, mashed potatoes, apple pie. I can't eat much anymore. My appetite left with my strength. But what if he comes? What kind of mother would I be? If I had nothing prepared at night, I sit in his old room. The bed is neatly made. The desk still holds his childhood trophies. I pick up one of his shirts and hold it close to my chest. It no longer smells like him, but I pretend it does. "Where are you, my son?" I whisper. The walls don't answer. One afternoon, a young man from the neighborhood stopped by. "Mrs. Wilson," he said, "I think I saw your son downtown last week." My heart skipped. He looked successful, the boy continued. "Nice suit. Expensive car." Tears filled my eyes. "Thank God," I said. "My son is doing well." Then the boy hesitated. There was something else. I looked at him. "He didn't mention you," the boy said softly. When someone asked about family, he changed the subject. That night, sleep refused to come. For the first time, a question formed in my heart. Had my son forgotten me? I scolded myself. No, sons don't forget their mothers. I repeated it like a prayer. The next morning, I opened the door again. The same street, the same silence. But my hope remained, because a mother's heart doesn't understand abandonment. It only understands waiting. I didn't know then that the waiting would soon end. Not with a reunion, but with a truth I was never ready to face. I did not sleep that night. The young man's words echoed in my mind again and again. "He didn't mention you." I lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the sound of the clock ticking on the wall. Every tick felt heavy, like it was counting something I didn't want to face. I turned to my side and whispered softly, "No, Daniel wouldn't forget me." I said it out loud because saying it inside my heart was no longer enough. The next morning, I woke up earlier than usual. My body felt weaker than before, but my heart was restless. I made my way to the kitchen and boiled water for tea. My hands shook so badly that some of the water spilled on the counter. As I cleaned it, I noticed something I had been avoiding for a long time. The house felt emptier. Not just quiet. Empty. I carried my cup of tea to the front porch and sat in my usual chair. The same chair from where I watched the road every day. Cars passed by. A delivery truck stopped 2 houses away. A woman walked her dog. Life moved on as it always did. And I stayed where I was, waiting. Around noon, my neighbor Helen stopped by. She was around my age, maybe a little younger, and had always been kind to me. "Margaret," she said gently, "you don't look well today." I smiled, the kind of smile that hides pain. "I'm fine," I replied. "Just tired." Helen sat beside me and held my hand. "Have you heard from Daniel?" she asked carefully. I looked at the road instead of at her. "No," I said. "But he'll call." She didn't argue. Sometimes kindness means staying silent. That afternoon, something inside me changed. For the first time in years, I picked up my coat. "I need to go somewhere," I told Helen. "Where?" she asked. "To the city," I said. "To see my son." The bus ride felt long and uncomfortable. Every bump on the road sent pain through my knees and back. But I didn't complain. I watched the scenery change, from quiet neighborhoods to busy streets. Tall buildings replaced trees. Noise replaced silence. Daniel lived here now. This was his world. I reached the address he had once given me years ago. A tall apartment building stood before me, clean and modern. I felt small. I walked inside slowly and approached the front desk. "I'm looking for my son," I said softly. "Daniel Wilson." The receptionist typed something into the computer. "Yes," she said. "He lives here." My heart skipped. "Is he home?" I asked. She looked at the screen again. "No," she said. "But he'll be back in the evening." I nodded. "I'll wait." I sat in the lobby for hours. People came and went. Some glanced at me, some didn't notice me at all. I held my purse tightly on my lap. As evening approached, the lobby lights grew brighter. And then, I saw him. Daniel walked in, dressed in a fine suit. He looked taller, older, different. He was talking on his phone, laughing. My heart filled with joy and fear at the same time. I stood up slowly. "Daniel," I called. He turned. For a moment, our eyes met. And then, his expression changed. Not to happiness, not to surprise, but to discomfort. "Mom," he said quietly, Yes, I whispered, tears filling my eyes. It's me. He glanced around. People were watching. Mom, what are you doing here? He asked. I came to see you, I said. You didn't answer your phone. He sighed. Mom, this isn't a good time. Those words pierced my heart. I won't take long, I said quickly. I just wanted to see you. To know you're okay. I'm fine, he replied. Really? There was a pause. An awkward silence. I'll call you later, he said. Please go home. I wanted to hug him. I wanted to tell him how proud I was. But my feet wouldn't move. My voice wouldn't come. I nodded instead. All right, I said softly. He turned away and walked past me. I stood there frozen. A stranger passed by and gently guided me to sit down. Are you okay? She asked. I nodded. But I wasn't. The bus ride back felt longer than before. My chest felt heavy. My hands felt cold. For the first time, the truth knocked on my heart. My son wasn't just busy. He was ashamed. That night, I didn't cook. I didn't sit in his room. I went straight to bed. But sleep didn't come. Instead, memories came. I remembered holding Daniel for the first time. How small he was. How he cried until I held him close. I'm here, I had whispered then. I'll always be here. In the following days, my health worsened. I stopped eating properly. I stopped going outside as much. Still, every morning, I opened the door. Hope is a strange thing. Even when it hurts, it stays. One afternoon, a letter arrived. It was addressed to Daniel. From a law firm. I stared at the envelope for a long time. I didn't want to open it. But something inside me said I had to. The letter spoke of property, assets, and inheritance. Daniel was doing very well. Better than I had ever imagined. My hands shook as I folded the paper. So this is your life now, I whispered. A few days later, Helen came running. Margaret, she said urgently. I need to tell you something. What is it? I asked. I saw Daniel, she said. He was with a woman. I smiled weakly. That's good, I said. He deserves happiness. Helen hesitated. They were talking about you. My heart tightened. What did they say? Helen swallowed. He said you were no longer part of his life. That night, something inside me broke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just quietly. The next morning, I did not open the door. For the first time in years. I stayed in bed. The waiting had finally become too heavy. I didn't know then. That destiny was preparing one final meeting. One that would bring truth, regret, and a pain no apology could erase. I do not remember how many days passed after that morning. The morning when I did not open the door. The waiting chair on the porch remained empty. The door stayed closed. And the house finally felt as tired as I was. My body had grown weak, but my heart was exhausted. I stopped cooking. The kitchen stayed cold. The stove untouched. There was no reason to make Daniel's favorite meals anymore. Because deep inside, I finally knew. He was not coming. One afternoon, Helen found me sitting in the dark. Margaret, she said softly, turning on the light. You scared me. You didn't answer my calls. I looked at her, but I couldn't speak. My voice felt buried somewhere deep inside my chest. She sat beside me and held my hand. You need to see a doctor, she said. You're not well. I smiled faintly. I'm just tired, I replied. But we both knew. This tiredness was not of the body alone. That night, I felt a pain I had never felt before. Not sharp. Not sudden. But heavy. Like something was pressing down on my chest, slowly stealing my breath. I tried to stand up, but my legs gave way. I collapsed onto the floor. The room spun around me. My last thought before darkness took over was, Daniel. When I opened my eyes, I was in a hospital room. White walls. Beeping machines. A strange smell of medicine. Helen sat beside my bed, tears in her eyes. You gave us a scare, she said. I tried to speak. Daniel, I whispered. She looked away. The doctor explained my condition. My heart was weak. Very weak. Stress, he said gently. Loneliness. Emotional trauma. He didn't need to say more. I already knew the cause. Helen tried calling Daniel. Again. And again. Finally, she left a message. "Your mother is in the hospital," she said into the phone, her voice shaking. "Please come." Hours passed. Then a day. Then another. Daniel did not come. On the third day, I asked Helen for paper and a pen. "What do you want to write?" she asked. "A letter," I said. "My last one." My hands trembled as I wrote. "My dear Daniel, if you are reading this, it means I didn't get to see you one last time. I don't blame you. Life gets busy. I understand. I just want you to know. I was always proud of you. Even when you didn't call. Even when you didn't come. A mother's love does not fade with distance or silence. Be kind. Be humble. And never forget where you came from. I will always be waiting, somewhere. Love. Mom." Tears fell onto the paper, smudging the ink. But I kept writing. Because this was the only way. I knew how to love. That evening, something changed. The pain in my chest eased. Not because I was healing, but because I was letting go. I felt calm. Peaceful. As if my heart had finally decided to rest. Early the next morning, my breathing slowed. The machines beeped faster. Helen held my hand tightly. "Stay with me," she whispered. I smiled. "It's okay," I said softly. "I'm not scared anymore." My eyes drifted toward the window. Sunlight poured in. And for a moment, I imagined the door of my house opening. Daniel standing there, calling out Mom. And then, everything went quiet. Daniel arrived 2 days later. Too late. He stood in the hospital hallway, confused and restless. "I'm here to see my mother," he told the nurse. The nurse looked at him gently. "I'm sorry," she said. "She passed away." The words didn't register immediately. "What?" Daniel asked. "She waited," the nurse continued softly. "She waited for you." Daniel's world collapsed. He fell onto a chair, his face pale. "No," he whispered. "No, this can't be happening." Helen approached him, holding the letter. "She wrote this for you," she said. Daniel took the envelope with shaking hands. As he read the words, his body began to tremble. Tears streamed down his face. "She didn't blame me," he cried. "Even after everything, she didn't blame me." The funeral was quiet. Simple. Daniel stood beside the grave, unable to move. Memories flooded his mind. His mother's. Just like her life. Tired smile. Her calloused hands. Her voice on the phone he never answered. After the funeral, Daniel went to the house. The old house. He opened the door. Dust filled the air. Everything was exactly as it had been. The waiting chair. The cold kitchen. The untouched bed. On the porch table, he found a small box. Inside were his childhood photos, school certificates, and a note. "I kept everything you ever gave me." Because a mother never throws away her child's memories. Daniel collapsed to the floor and cried like a child. In the weeks that followed, Daniel's life changed, but not in the way he expected. His success felt hollow. His expensive apartment felt empty. Every night, guilt kept him awake. He started visiting old-age homes, listening to stories, helping strangers, trying to fill the hole in his heart. But nothing worked, because some losses cannot be repaired. One evening, Daniel sat alone in his apartment. He placed his mother's photo on the table. "I'm sorry, Mom," he whispered. "I should have come sooner." The photo remained silent, just like she had been. Waiting. Parents do not ask for wealth. They do not ask for luxury. They only ask for time. And when that time is gone, no success, no apology, no regret can bring it back. If your parents are still alive, don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come. If your parents are still alive, don't wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come. Moral of the story. Parents do not ask for wealth, fame, or comfort. They only ask for time, respect, and love. A mother can wait her entire life. For one knock on the door. For one phone call. For one moment of attention. But when that moment never comes, silence becomes her companion. And waiting becomes her destiny. This story teaches us one painful truth. Backhand index pointing at success means nothing if you lose the people who made you. Backhand index pointing right regret always arrives, but it is often too late. If your parents are still alive, do not wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come. If this story touched your heart, please don't ignore it like the son ignored his mother. Call your parents today. Visit them. Hold their hands. Because love delayed is love denied. If you respect your parents and believe in family values, please like this video and subscribe to Heartstrings Stories. Respect for parents is the greatest wealth. Thank you for supporting Heartstrings Stories.